Hey there, I am Gigi aka Harmonious Bytes, and here's a little more info on Video 1 Nintendo 64 console. Let's jump in. Now, before I begin, I must admit that I have the loudest street ever, especially when it comes to really quiet recordings. So I have to admit that I am impressed sometimes by how quiet some of these recordings come out. There's a lot of waiting. I'll just say that there's a lot of waiting. So I came to realize that as much as I love gaming systems, I most often know absolutely nothing about them. So I thought that it would be quite fun to have corresponding podcasts to go with the cleaning videos that I release, just explaining a little bit more about what it is that I am cleaning. A lot of the times I get, let's say, consoles or devices from friends, family, work, and randoms, believe it or not. And I actually don't know what it is that I'm holding. So I hope that you enjoy these podcasts and that they get you a little bit more enthusiastic if you're not already into the retro gaming world. I know for me, I'm thoroughly curious. So I want to just have a little bit of something to kind of give you some insight. If there is extra information that I didn't include, fun facts, please comment below because I'm all for information and having an open platform that we can discuss further anything that has been missed or even information that is incorrect. So the Nintendo 64, okay, even when I say Nintendo or N64, or even just say 64, there is something within my soul that actually ignites. And I feel like I'm just the most vibrant, nostalgic person when it comes to N64. It was my first home gaming system within my immediate family. We played other consoles like Mega Drive, the Super Nintendo, but my family had the N64, and it's a bit of a tragic story. So pretty much there was this guy owed my dad some money, and instead of giving him cash, he took his son's gaming system and gave it to my papa. And look, I remember as a kid thinking, oh, that doesn't sound right. But once it was turned on, it just it's like everything just disappeared. And I'm like, oh, this is great. And the kid would come over all the time and play. Like he didn't seem to be bothered by the whole situation. At least it didn't come across like that. But as an adult looking back, I just think, God, you don't do that. Anyway, but that was, I don't even know what year that was. It was a while ago. Now, the system was released in 1996. June 23rd in Japan and North America. And then it was later released in Australia and Europe the year after, 1997, on March 1st. Now, I was really curious, like, why did they release it like the year after? And apparently, the reason for the delay to Europe, Australia, and the rest of the world is that they realized that they weren't able to actually manufacture enough consoles in 1996. And it kind of, like, I don't know whether that's true or not, but it's pretty smart to release, if you think about it, like in one area of the world, test it to see whether it's popular enough. And then from there, if I guess it's like a viable financial good thing to do, then you could release it in the other side of the world. In saying that though, the biggest reason for their success is that they released a 64-bit processing unit home console, which allowed for 3D aspects, right? And it was the first ever that had been released of the sort. They completely jumped over the 32-bit era, which makes me curious what that would have looked like. It's an area that I really don't know much about. But again, could be another podcast all about the missing 32-bit era. But Nintendo they worked very hard and made a gaming system, a home gaming system that was far superior and incredibly enjoyable. And it was the third major home gaming system for Nintendo. For those of you who are unaware, the first two being NES, so the Nintendo Entertainment System, followed by the SNES, so the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which I'm sure I'll have a video on that at some point. Just depends if I get one into clean. So Nintendo did a whole lot of arcade gaming systems and handhelds like the Game & Watch series, which, oh goodness, still quite popular and expensive today. I read on fandom.com, which by the way is a really good website. So I highly recommend you go on it if you want to know some more information about Nintendo or any of those kind of like retro gaming systems. But according to fandom.com, the N64 was originally named Project Reality. Now that that just sounds so damn cool. Like if that came out today, I imagine there would be a lot of like VR, AR type programming and also possibly some alien stuff coming through. But a 64-bit processing unit console is also pretty damn cool for the time and still is. I guess we're kind of playing on the idea of it being 3D, something that kind of jumps out at you and is super fun to play. So, was this maybe, I'm curious now, was this possibly their version of like a VR type situation? Pretty cool in my eyes. So the N64 was the last cartridge-based home console system until, yes, the Switch came along. It's also pretty crazy that Switch is now 6 years old. It still seems quite new to me. But 6 years, okay. It just jumps away like that. So cool. The older you get, the faster time goes. Now, a bit about the console. It has 1 to 4 player capabilities. And of course, this to me is the biggest and most important thing to know: cheats. Honestly, it's like the main reason why I still play Mario Kart on N64. It's just so I can cheat the whole time. And don't get me wrong, I most often lose, but it's okay. Like, I like the ability to be able to do that. And I have no shame in it. I have absolutely no shame. And Rainbow Road goes for like a million hours, which is, again, totally fine. But once you play one session of Rainbow Road, you're kind of done for the whole day. So, which is totally fine again. But yes, the color, they call it a charcoal, well, I call it gray, but it comes in a myriad of different colors too. There's also Pokemon types, there's ice blue, there's, oh God, I've seen some really cool, like, transparent orange. And if you get a console that has a different color than the standard gray, dark gray, you're basically sitting on gold. It looks like all these consoles just cost so much money. So, they all play the same way, unless you get a modification, which you can, I guess, today because they stopped making the console. But I think there's something called a RAD2X, which converts your gaming system into HD and allows you to do all this really cool stuff to it. But even if you don't have that modification, the console itself is incredibly fun. The only issue with it today, I would have to say, is that it was designed to be played on classic CRT TVs. And so anything modern with HD components to it, which is essentially anything released today, the image on the screen comes a little bit blurry. So this is why people get modifications on their consoles to make it HD compatible. And it just makes everything look crispy. So it's definitely something that you would maybe possibly consider doing if you do have a modern TV and an N64. Or you could also get yourself a CRT TV, which they're not too incredibly easy to come by depending where you're at, but they are available. I mean, I literally found a couple on the side of the road, picked them both up, they worked, sold one, kept the other, and now I play all my consoles on that. Well, all my retro consoles. So keep an eye out, but just know that the screens you'll see that they just look, I don't know, they just look a little crisper on the CRT TVs. But again, not saying that you can't play these consoles on your modern TV. It's just that's the only, I don't want to say criticism actually, despite the fact that I used that word before, but it's really just something to be aware of, that it was designed for an older TV. So yeah, and also the modifications can be a little bit expensive, but if you're really into gaming and you love that retro look, it might be something that you'd want to consider. There are companies that do these modifications for you. There's one called retrosales.com.au if you're based in Australia, which is where I am based. They definitely do modifications there. But I'm sure if you go on Google, you'll be able to find something. So, but yes, so that is it from me. I am Gigi, and I hope that you enjoy this little bit of extra information on the Nintendo 64 console. Now, if you want to keep up to date with all the affiliated podcasts that I will release weekly to correspond with any other videos that I release, please like and subscribe to my channel, and you'll just get notification of when I release a new video or podcast. And if you like and subscribe to my channel, I will like and subscribe to you. I don't even know what that means, but basically I will just keep releasing content. So enjoy the rest of your wonderful day. Until next time, ciao ciao.